Welcome to the Freewoman podcast, a space for all women who are ready to break free of the inauthentic life. Remember to like and subscribe for more free woman in your feed.
Inhale, exhale. You've arrived. Now let's laugh. Hello, free woman.
Hello, free woman.
How are you?
So wonderful to have you here today.
Yeah, thank you for checking in and listening to us today.
Yeah, anyone else just kind of sick of this shit right now?
I am. I'm sick of the shit.
That's been my vibe the past few days. I'm like, I am just sick of this.
I know. I keep going through like ebbs and flows of feeling like good, and then all of a sudden just being really depressed, like
Sinking hopelessness.
yeah.
Well, and when I say sick of this, I just mean on so many different levels. And maybe it's the menopause, I don't know. It's always hard to tell. Is it that the world is falling apart, or is it that I have menopause?
Both.
A little bit of both. But yeah, the online arenas that used to be a lot of fun, they feel heavy, they feel full of hatred and divisiveness. And then, in like my personal world, I have teenagers, I have a toddler, he has croup right now, so
Yeah,
we
poor
were at
guy.
urgent care. Halloween just felt like chaos. It's just,
Yeah, you were really busy. I'm sorry it was such a hard week for you.
yeah, not only do we have like toddler Halloween parade, but we have teenager Halloween orchestra concert.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, what has happened to our holidays?
I know. You had a really busy week last week. I finished a puzzle.
Yeah, I enjoyed that for you.
Yeah, thank you.
I was like, oh, that looks like fun, Kat.
Yeah, I did not have my children last week, so it was a little different for me, but I was doing the puzzle to kind of help calm my brain because I know.
That was a drum roll.
Drum roll.
I know it was really obvious. I did a good job.
Yeah, I pushed myself out of my comfort zone last week and started filming videos on TikTok. Oh, thank you. I've only been feeling this way for the last 2 years that I need to do it. I've been like, no, I'm not going to talk. It's terrifying.
I feel like you're this like little mouse kind of coming out and being like, is it safe? Is it safe? Is it safe? Is the cat around? Am I going to get eaten or pounced on?
Yeah.
So maybe the owl's going to swoop down and grab me and eat me?
Well, ladies, anyone listening, if you have severe PTSD from your childhood,
If you have severe trauma,
you know how scary it is to vocalize your feelings or the stories of your life.
the trauma stories.
The trauma stories. I was put down so much when I was little, especially by my father, and also just told how stupid I was all the time. And so my brain, to protect me, kept me small, and it told me to not talk or speak because it kept me safe. Because every time I tried to speak or speak up for myself when I was little, I would be attacked. And either it was vocally by my father or physically by my brother. So I just have this like little thing inside of me, maybe a big thing, my inner child, this part of me that's pretty afraid to speak. So
Yeah,
I started talking last week and it felt like a lot.
I think a lot of women, and men have that anxiety that comes up and just makes it so hard to speak. If
Yeah.
they're about to say something really authentic and really vulnerable, it feels like you are jumping out of an airplane.
It's terrifying. You have like the body tremors.
Yeah, it's almost like even if you want to do it, it's like everything is physically frozen and holding
Yeah.
you back.
I mean, I feel like throwing up. My mind goes blank too. So then that makes it even worse. You're trying to talk about how you feel, and then your mind just blanks out, and then the emotions rise, and you just start crying. And
Yeah.
I had something really good to say, but now it's just ruined.
Yeah, I went on this journey too. Like we've both done this of telling my story. When I was going through really bad parental alienation and narcissistic abuse, post-divorce abuse, I realized that I needed to start telling my side of the story, that if I continued to be nice, he would be able to completely rewrite reality. But I had full body tremblings
Yeah.
and panic attacks as I did it. What other people saw is that I was making these videos and they thought I was just so confident and just so self-assured. But what was happening behind the camera is I was like in a corner, like rocking and shaking. And I'm like, I know that this one is really important for me to talk about because it makes me want to throw up. It makes my whole body go into fight or flight.
Yeah.
And I know I need to move this. And that's something that is not discussed very much, is that one of the ways we move our trauma is by talking.
Yeah, and it's the thing I have been avoiding my entire life. And
Yeah, because it's hard.
and I have,
It's something
it's
that
so
is
hard.
done to victims. We are told not to talk. We are told not to talk about the abuse. Like, obviously with child abuse, we all have heard the stories of children being told, like, don't tell, you'll get in trouble. Your daddy will get in trouble, or the police will get, or you'll get taken away. And so these kids that are in abusive situations are really afraid to talk. But it happens at every age, whether it's an abusive spouse or boyfriend or boss at work. You are conditioned to not talk about the abuse above all else.
It just feels like you are going to get punished and like you're going to get into trouble. I feel like when I'm talking, I kind of duck my head a little bit because I'm afraid I'm going to get hit. I feel like that's what's coming.
There's this instinctual
like jolt, like
cringe or whatever. Yeah.
Because I'm like, we are going to get into trouble. We are going to get hit for just even saying a little bit about what we've been through. And then you do record it and put it out into the world. And then afterwards you spend it, for me, like I spend a whole day going back and forth that I should take it down.
Or did you say it right?
Did I say it right? Or I'm wrong.
Or you're going to be criticized.
I'm being over dramatic.
Well, you're laying out for the world the most vulnerable parts of your story for criticism, for judgment, for consumption.
Yeah.
And it feels like a lot, but we have found so much healing through listening to other people's stories.
Yeah.
And so we know that it's important.
It is important. I mean, that is one of the reasons I started talking, is because I witnessed Jayenna doing it, and it inspired me. I mean, it still took me quite a few years to do it, but going to therapy is another way I've been able to kind of take that leap finally. And then I also discovered that I'm dyslexic, and wow, woo, that opened a whole new door. And I realized a lot of my like setbacks is the word I want. A lot of my setbacks is because of being dyslexic and then having a trauma brain. And I don't know, there's just something about realizing that you are there's nothing really wrong with you. Like, I just always thought I was stupid and dumb, but I'm like, oh, what it is like I have trauma and I have a brain that works very differently. And I was like, okay, we're ready to talk now.
Yeah.
We're ready to take that leap and do the really, really scary thing. And doing a puzzle last week really helped me to kind of
come in.
Yeah, it kind of helped me to be in that kind of meditative place and have a little chat with myself, like, you're safe. It's okay that you did this.
Oh, look, we found another match.
Yeah.
Yeah, there is something about doing puzzles or activities like that are very straightforward and repetitive that help the mind come down. I found that with my PTSD too. If I'm feeling really triggered, if I'm feeling really triggered, that something like that, also going on walks, just something that's repetitive,
that really helps too.
Doesn't require a lot of mental effort, but just a little bit, it kind of helps my anxiety levels, my cortisol, come down a little.
I actually started running again last week because I was like, this is the only thing that's going to bring down that anxiety.
You got to put the energy somewhere.
I know. I was like, we need to go run. Run! And,
Okay, I'm okay.
Oh my God, I'm still vibrating. Let's run some more.
Yeah, I started doing a lot of tapping exercises when I was going through that to just like feel my body. I know there's lots of different methods of tapping. I'm not like an expert,
No.
but I just started like kind of like tapping my body to be like, this is my body. We're here right now in our home.
Yeah.
In this current moment, and we are safe.
Yeah, the tapping, maybe it's just kind of instinctual, not needing to do that, but I would tap right here at the center of my chest, especially the last couple years when I was absolutely terrified that I might become homeless. And I was like, how am I going to take care of my kids? And, I just really like getting your foundation taken from you is like the scariest for me. This one of the scariest things I've ever experienced. And I would just tap my heart right here or my chest, and I would just say, I'm safe. We are safe right now. We are safe. Like right now, we are in a home. Let's not worry about the future. It's like, I'm safe. But the tapping really helps bring me into my body too. I really like that one. And it's almost like the tapping helps rewire the neurons in the brain too. So you're building a stronger thinking process and nervous system. So I like the tapping.
Yeah, we're talking about like triggered as in telling our stories on social media, which is a huge trigger because it is public. It's out there for public consumption and judgment and abuse.
Well,
and being twisted.
Not only that, our abusers can one day see what we're talking about, and just knowing that.
Because they stalk us and are obsessed with us. Because that's how abusive personalities are.
What they do.
They don't just leave you alone.
Yeah.
When you break up.
Yeah, it's lovely.
But it's not just social media that causes this kind of anxiety. Using your voice to also stand up for yourself.
Yeah.
If you are a survivor of abuse, using your voice in that way to like draw a hard boundary or to stand up to gaslighting and say, no, this is what really happened. Those things are incredibly triggering as well. And I've had full-blown like panic anxiety attacks from doing those kinds of things.
Like just sweating and like you can't breathe.
This feeling of like not safe, not safe.
Those are really terrifying. And it doesn't help if from a very young age, if you're gaslit or belittled, and then you are an adult and you're with someone who's doing the same thing to you, you really do think that you're the one in the wrong, that you are the crazy person, that you are just not good enough, you're not trying hard enough in the relationship too. And then you're also, for me, I was trying to do whatever I could just to keep the relationship smooth and
that's what
safe.
You do when you're in an abusive relationship. You walk on eggshells and you learn how to anticipate their behavior, how to read their mood, and how to keep them happy at all costs. You keep the abuser happy. And I mean, how nice for them.
God, no kidding.
That everybody in their world is doing a fancy tap dance just to keep their mood elevated.
That's why when you figure this out and you get really sick of it and then you leave them and then you've not been with them for a while and you realize their patterns is actually abuse and you start realizing you're safe and you can say no, you will see the real person come out. And it's not pretty.
Well, you kind of always knew that was there. That's why you're doing the fancy tap dance. That's why you're afraid to say no. That's why you're being so accommodating, so pleasing, is because you know that there is a landmine under there, like just waiting to go off.
Yeah.
And so, especially if you've had childhood abuse, which we both did, then as an adult, it's like you can sense that. Your intuition, your instincts know when the landmine is there, and you people please like crazy to avoid that, any kind of explosion.
Yeah, learning to...
Conflict.
It does, learning to unteach yourself to be the pleaser is very uncomfortable.
Yeah, to go towards the conflict rather than manage it or run away from it. It's so uncomfortable.
So uncomfortable, so terrifying. I mean... I remember when I finally decided I wanted to divorce my ex-husband. And I couldn't believe I was the one saying I wanted it.
I'm sure he was shocked too.
Yeah. It took me about 1.5 years to get the confidence to finally do it. And then I had to have a little pep talk with myself before. And I just, again, had to tell myself, we are safe. We can do this. We don't have to do this anymore. It was terrifying. And I kept saying, I'd rather push out a baby naturally all over again than do that. I was like, I'd rather jump off a cliff than do this. I am so afraid to stand up for myself and what I actually really want. But you know what? I did it. And I'm so proud of myself, but that was just the beginning of learning to stand up for myself. It has been 7 years of consistent saying no and creating boundaries. And as I've done it, I've lost everything.
I had recently a really difficult conversation where I was voicing some things that were so uncomfortable. And I couldn't, it was amazing reading the text and being like, this is so basic, this is so simple what I wrote. But because of the person I was directing it to, which were family members that had bullied me from the time I was just a little kid. Like little kid. Like I don't even have memories. I just have emotions around a lot of like those early years. But it's been going on my entire adult life too. And I finally called it out in a very like gentle, direct way of when you do this, I feel like crap and I don't want to be around this anymore. And it was just that. Like that's basically what I wrote. I had a full blown like body tremors all over, shaking after I sent it. And then I also like cried, but then I kind of laughed, but then I cried again and then I like shook all over. And it's crazy that such a simple message as a 40-year-old woman to another adult that doesn't even live near me caused that kind of a response in me, which tells me that what I was saying was very true and very vulnerable and rooted in deep childhood trauma.
I mean, that is such a good indicator of when you're doing the right thing for you. It's uncomfortable, it's scary, and like you said, your whole body shakes. I know now if I'm starting to feel that way, it means we have to go in that direction, and I'm always really pissed off.
Yeah, I know that. I get the same feeling too.
Well, like, oh, God damn it, again! We have to do this again? I'm so tired of doing the hard stuff.
I remember a few years ago, someone telling me that I should really talk about the Mormon church on social media because I was talking about abuse, but I'd always been really careful not to bring up the religion of my childhood, because my family is still all active in that religion and they would watch my stuff. But as soon as this person recommended that to me, I had like a full-blown panic attack. And I was like, well, shit. They're right. I need to talk about this. Otherwise, I wouldn't be feeling so much anxiety and so much fear. There is something here that has to be unearthed through words.
Yeah, you did a really good job doing that. I was pretty triggered just listening to you do it because I avoided my childhood memories of the Mormon church. I was like, this thing did not affect me. It is not going to own me. I am not a Mormon. And then the more we talked about it and the more you talked about it, I was like, oh wow, I really am pretty fucked up because of the church.
Yeah, maybe it did have maybe living in an area that's 95% Mormon as a young girl affected me.
It really affected me. And I really hated going into that, but we did it.
But speaking of being triggered, even listening to my videos, what are the responses that you've been getting to your videos?
I know. It was actually kind of overwhelming. I have been getting a lot of women and some men too sharing their stories and saying me too. And I am just so humbled that anybody wants to share their story with me and that they're being brave as well. But it's just been so validating that I am not wrong. I was abused for a long, long time. I mean, I'm still abused by my ex-husband. You know, whenever I create a boundary or I say no, you know, I have to wait for the paragraphs of words from a text.
It's like, here it comes.
Here it comes. You know, it doesn't really...
You are a bad person.
I know. I'm going to tattletale on you and let my lawyer know that you said no.
We have all discussed it over here and agree that you're bad.
You're a bad woman. You know, but it's been very encouraging to continue speaking because I have found so many other people who have gone through the same thing. I mean, I think our entire generation.
Well, and
went through it, but
you know, like we're talking about getting those messages from your ex. It's interesting how you can't quite heal from the abuse until you start standing up for yourself and realizing that they can't hurt you anymore.
Yeah.
That you are safe and that the most they can do is send a mean paragraph.
And they do.
And so it kind of breaks you free of that pattern you were in when you were like married to them where you're so terrified, or that pattern from childhood where you're so terrified of getting in trouble because it does feel truly dangerous.
Yeah.
It's a way for your nervous system and your unconscious brain to realize it is now safe for me to talk about these things because I just did it. And we are still here.
Yeah, I think my body's still trying to catch up that we're safe.
Yeah, it takes it a minute.
It takes a while, but I can tell my brain has shifted quite a bit. My brain is like, oh, I know what you're doing. You can't do that to me anymore. And I know that you are just having a little boy tantrum because you're not getting your way anymore with me. But then, you know, I got to do something for my body as my body's freaking out. It's like, not safe, not safe. Run for your life. You're in trouble.
But have you noticed some people having a triggered reaction to you talking openly about trauma and abuse?
Absolutely. You can tell who's triggered. They usually have something pretty negative to say towards you. But I have, you know, I've been doing this a long time now, especially a lot of practice with my ex-husband that I just put a little smiley face or ignore it. It's like, all right, good for you. Go figure that out. I'm going to put my time and energy into those people who actually do see the truth because my time is valuable. And you need to stop projecting on me and go figure that out.
Yeah, and I find that there are some women as well, maybe men too, that feel uncomfortable just because they have been taught and conditioned that we don't say those things for public consumption, that those things are meant to be like private, that the goal is to move beyond and let them rest, and like there's all these sort of ways that we gaslight women into not sharing their stories, and a lot of it's cultural, right?
Absolutely. I mean, my childhood, we didn't talk about shit. You do not tell anybody what's going on. And I have tried in the past to kind of start opening up through social media, not through videos, but just like post. And I got reprimanded so bad by my family. And then because I just started to even say a few minor things about healing, that it got to the point that I needed to go no contact with my family. Because they were using me as the mascot of the problem in our family. And I was like, you know, I'm not going to do this. You guys go figure that out. And I'm going to go no contact so I can feel safe and continue on my healing journey.
I found that when I talked about unhealthy parts of my childhood, it really triggered my sisters. They wanted to control the narrative and how it was told, rather than let me relay the experience that was my experience. And I find too that there are people that find it upsetting, I think, when I call out abusers because they've been conditioned to protect abusers. I don't think they see it that way. They see it as being nice.
Yeah.
But they see it as rude to share a negative story about what someone did online.
Yeah.
But the thing is that someone is still doing those things. And that thing that happened had a huge impact on my life, on my mental health, on my well-being. And shouldn't we be entitled to our own stories, even the dark parts, regardless of if our abuser likes that?
Yeah.
Why are we so worried about protecting the abusers? Why can't we focus on helping the people who want to heal do the work?
Yeah, it's almost like let's just always try to keep the water calm, keep everything steady. So let's just pretend it never happened and just keep going on every day and pretending. But
Yeah.
I don't know why. I don't know why it's so hard. Why we think the best way is to not talk about it and not talk about the abusers, because really, you know, when we all start talking, we are the ones that actually have the power, because the abusers, they love that nobody knows what's going on.
They thrive.
They thrive
in silence.
They do. And then once you start to remove their mask, it makes them so uncomfortable. But I can understand why people aren't talking. I mean, God, it took me 42 years.
Well,
it's scary.
It's
hard.
For those people that are protecting abusers, a lot of them have an incident in their past, like we do, where they learned that you have to keep the abuser happy in order to be safe. And although they're not fully conscious of this, they continue to do that throughout the rest of their life when they encounter those personalities that are bullying, that are gaslighting, that have that kind of energy. They appease them. They seek to appease them rather than stand with those who are speaking out against it.
Well, I guess as a child, if you're never seeing your parents stand up,
if you're being told to be quiet,
then I guess as an adult, you still continue to do the same thing. But I decided a long time ago that I'm going to teach my children how you stand up to a bully, how you stand up for yourself, how you choose yourself, how you have boundaries, and how to keep your peace.
I know that our children was a huge motivator for both of us, where it's one thing for us to have to go through this, right? This mistreatment, but allowing it to be normalized for our kids, I was like, oh, fuck that.
Oh, I know. I'm like feeling it in me right now. It's like, just try.
Yeah.
Yeah. My kids have been such a, I don't know what the word I want, cheerleader. They have been the motivator to do what I've been doing, to do my inner work, to do my healing, and to stand up to their dad and to teach them what abuse is, and then just to also create a space for them that feels safe and like unconditional love. Because I'm like, I want you guys to have a head start in life. I don't want you to go through what I have gone through. This healing, this brain trauma, this is taking so much energy, and it has consumed everything in my life.
And it's because nobody stood up for you as a child.
Nobody stood up for me. And sometimes I'm like, God, where would I be if I didn't have this trauma? Where would I be in life? Maybe I'd have a home. You know?
Well, that's for sure.
Maybe I would have a very successful career. Maybe I would have went to college because I wanted to go, but I was too afraid. I had no support, and I was just told all the time that, one, I'm a girl and girls don't go to school, and that I'm stupid. And I just have realized that I'm not.
What? There's a mind-blowing realization.
It really was. This just happened like a week ago. It's been huge. Like,
still processing,
but it's made me really angry because I have been, some things have just been stolen from me, because I have had to put all of my time and energy in standing up for myself, in reprogramming my brain, and doing these things that just terrify me. And it's just like basic human things, like standing up for yourself.
Yeah.
You know, and
I related childhood abuse to it's like you're in this hole, and you're a grasshopper, and your parent pulls off your hopping legs and then throws you in this hole, and you have to climb your way out to even get to like the starting point where most other people start, and you don't have your hopping legs. And
yeah, I love that. That's exactly what it's like.
When you are abused by your parent, they are pulling off your ability to move through the world, to hop confidently from one adventure to the next.
I know,
and then they throw you down in this pit, so you have to just
with
like
a toxic man, because you're taught the first thing you need to do when you get out of high school is find the guy that's going to take care of you, and you just let him be responsible of everything for you. And so you're immediately being conditioned to be codependent on a man and helpless. And so then you got to figure that out.
I know, it's just one thing after another. And I think that's why we both have felt so passionate about doing better for our children than was done for us. And I know that has been something that has constantly come up for me, is like, I want my children to have an abuse-free home. They deserve to have an abuse-free home. And it's been this reoccurring, I guess, mantra for me of like, this is the foundation I want for them. I want them to be able to have their brains develop without that fight or flight mechanism in there, without their self-esteem being constantly dragged through the mud. I want them to have just those basic human things.
Same. And I just want them to be excited about something, so that way they can, when they graduate from school, that they can go out there and go get it, and just know that they will have my back. I will be there for them no matter what. That has like been very important to me, is like letting them know I will always be there. I don't care what happened, what you did. I will be there, and I will always help you. And because I never got that ever.
Well, I think that's the other part too, is sharing our stories, communicating. So yes, on social media, we've done that. We like to say we've called out the rats, calling out the rats, but also directly in our personal life, having those really hard, vulnerable, anxiety-inducing conversations where we say, this has hurt me, or I have to step away from this. This is not okay for me. But then with our children, communicating to them parts of our story where it's appropriate, explaining to them these patterns and what we've gone through and how we've learned these things, and how to identify when someone's mistreating you, even how to identify when they're mistreating us, and calling it out
and having a conversation. Sometimes they want to be avoidant, or the emotions rise up, and I'm like, I'm just trying to have a conversation with you. I'm not angry with you. I'm not mad at you. I just want to talk about what just happened. We need to learn how to communicate with each other.
Teach emotional intelligence.
And or also, if something happened to them, especially if it's directed to what's going on to them at their father's house, I don't attack their father. Like, that is never anything I've ever wanted to do, because that happened to me when I was a kid, when my parents got divorced. It was very difficult being a kid, and even though I hated my dad, just him being constantly attacked felt like I was being attacked. So instead, I always just ask my kids, I'm like, well, how did that make you feel? And what do you think? And so it's like I'm trying to teach them to analyze it and figure it out on their own. I'm trying to teach them to listen to their body and what their intuition. And it's been so good. Like, God, the words they use already at the ages they're at, I was like, I didn't even know what that was at that age.
Yeah.
I'm just like so impressed by them, and proud of myself. And it's not an easy road raising kids, especially on your own or with a toxic ex.
Well, all of these different levels that speaking our trauma, speaking our story, speaking truth, bring healing into the world. And so I know that it's one of the hardest things for survivors to do. And like Cass said, she's been working up to this point for 2 years. And I've been divorced now for 7 years.
Yeah.
And so it's been a progressive thing. but know that it is important at whatever level it's coming in for you, whether it's social media, whether it's interpersonal relationships, whether it's parenting. Being able to use your voice is essential to your healing.
I think I'm still in shock this week that has been the next phase of healing. I'm like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
But yeah, using the voice, and what I realized, I had just this epiphany when I was doing it. And I realized by using my voice and telling my stories and, just putting it out there, it's me handing back the abuse. It's me handing back the trauma to the person that did it to me.
Bringing in truth.
It's bringing in truth.
Something that abusive personalities do is they muddy the waters, and they play that Darvo game where they redirect and they try to make other people look like the bad guy, or maybe everybody's the bad guy, and this and this and this and this. And when you just stand up and say, this happened to me, this was my experience, it was extremely painful, and you speak that out into the world. It is like you are doing a spell or breaking a spell.
Yeah.
You are breaking a spell and you are speaking truth into the lies.
It's like
and they just crumble.
Yeah, it's like opening up that cage, realizing that you were the one that was going to be the one to open the door.
Yep, you really are the one with the key.
With the key. And then the chains fall off, and it's just this ultimate feeling of freedom. And even though it's been really hard, I have just loved the feeling of I am free. And the person that was going to set me free is me, myself. And that goes with you, it goes with everyone. It has to be you that does it. And I know it's terrifying. It is. It's absolutely.
We shared our stories, like shaking, full body trembles, panic attack, can't breathe, all of those sensations. We've experienced them.
Sometimes stay in bed for the next few days.
Moved through this really intense trauma about staying silent.
But it's like, it's so interesting too, like hearing the voice in my head and the stories, and then, I'm minimizing it. But then when I say it and then I listen to what I just said, and I'm like, oh wow, that actually really was bad.
Yeah.
Just hearing me say it to the recording, I'm like, wow, if it was my friend telling me they went through that, I'd be like, you need to get out. And
I think I kind of had a story in my head that it was self-serving or attention seeking.
Yeah.
To tell these stories, that this was not appropriate, or it was self-aggrandizing. And that's definitely the vibe I felt from some of the toxic personalities at the time I started talking that were in my life. They're not in my life anymore. But realizing, and I can only come to this realization by speaking and moving through it, they wanted me to stay silent because they were afraid about how the truth would make them look. They were afraid of the truth. Well, you know what? They can't do their healing either as long as the lies are being held up, because holding up the lies and staying silent keeps abusers from their consequences. It keeps them from taking accountability. It keeps them from facing truth. It's helping no one. It's just perpetuating the abuse.
And then they just continue finding the next weak person, the next one who doesn't see. They just go find them and start abusing them. It's like they just get off on it. So the only way...
Well, they keep getting away with it.
And they keep getting away with it.
It's like a toddler that has been spoiled and keeps getting cookies and sweets and candies and gets to do whatever they want whenever they want. And it's not until that parent starts saying, no, no
more cookies.
No, not okay.
And let them have their...
This is not okay.
Yeah, and let them have their tantrum. I mean, when I have to do with my kids and, they have their tantrum and it's like, okay, go do that in the bedroom.
Yeah. It's okay for people to be upset.
Yeah, let them be upset.
Let them be upset.
And
it's okay.
And that's taken time. That's taken time for me to realize someone can be upset. And especially now if I'm not in the same place as them, I can do this through texting. Let them be upset. obviously make sure you're in a safe place. If you don't feel safe, don't do it, but find a safe place to you put put whatever it is that you need to say out there.
Well, and how many of us on the flip side of that, where we were maybe doing something and didn't have awareness of its impact or what was going on behind the scenes, and then someone spoke truth and we suddenly realized the part we were playing in this game or this puzzle, and we were able to take accountability and apologize or change actions or make amends.
Yeah.
The truth helps everyone. It helps victims and abusers. And so it's this false narrative that we need to protect them, that we need to make the story nice or soften its ugly pieces.
Yeah.
The truth sets you free.
It does. And it's scary. But wow, it is invigorating too when you finally start doing it. And once you start, you kind of can't stop.
It's sort of addictive. It's like, oh, I can just say this. I can just say this out loud.
Yeah. It's just like, oh wow, this feels really good. And especially when you find a community of people who have done it. And just like for me, like this last week, putting it out there and people reaching out to me or on the social media on TikTok and just hearing the stories, and it has just been so validating. I'm like, I am not wrong. I am not crazy. And look at how similar all these stories are. And we've just been letting these, I'm going to just say it, men, abusers get away with it. And
the niceness lets them get away with it.
It does. And so we just need to start talking. And
no more cookies.
No more cookies.
Cut them off.
Let's take it away.
He's eaten the whole cookie jar. Someone needs to pull it out. What does that rhyme? Poop, eat the cookies in the cookie jar.
Oh, yeah. Who, me? Not me.
I know who did. I do. Pick me. I know who did it.
Yeah, it's time to take away the cookies.
Call out the thief.
Mm-hmm. And just know, I mean, yes, it's scary, but Jayenna and I, as we've said almost every time we do a podcast, we have done it. We know how hard it is. And this is what this podcast is for, is to help you, free woman, to open your own cage and step out. And you can do it. If we have done it, you can do it.
Your voice is so powerful. You have no idea. There is a reason in witchcraft folklore so much emphasis is put on the words that we use. Mm-hmm. The words that you use matter. You have the power to speak truth into being.
It makes me think of like the sirens too, how they use their song to lure in their victims. Mm-hmm. There's just so much here with your voice, and
we can try to dance around it and try all these other ways, all these other methods, all these other healing modalities. But speaking is essential for victims of abuse. Using your voice is so crucial.
So we will continue to use our voices. We will continue talking, and we are going to continue to be brave and share our stories. And
you know what? We hope that you start to share your stories too, in whatever way feels right for you right now, because you have a beautiful voice and the truth will set you free.
Amen.